Hello, everyone, and welcome to our new General Studies student. And today our special event is with our Nina Bowen Scholars Department. We've got some amazing individuals here to tell you more about the program. So I am going to turn it over to Andrea and Maya so they can walk us through about some of the great opportunities that are available through their department.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much, Ms. Amanda. So before I start, I would like to give Maya an opportunity to introduce herself, and then I will introduce myself.
Hi, so my name is Maya McLaurin. I recently joined this department. I've only been on for a few short weeks, but I do serve as the program assistant for our department. So a lot of your first point of contact is with me. So if you see an email, it's probably coming from me, but that's pretty much the gist.
Absolutely. And as she said, my name is Andrea Thomas. I am the director currently of the Nina Scholars and Bowen Scholars program. And I'm also the interim director of the Ignite program. So I'm very excited to be presenting today, especially because I am a graduate of the AGS program. So I hold a general studies degree from Ivy Tech. And it's always been one of those programs that I just love to just tell students, because I think a lot of times we get a bum rap having general studies degrees. A lot of times people will say, oh, you have a degree in general studies. And I say, yes, I do. So it was really one of the best.
And we love that.
Yes, absolutely. It's really one of the best programs to be in here at Ivy Tech, because we are a two-year associate degree program. It gives you a good opportunity to just be a college student and kind of, go this direction, not feel pressure to go that direction. It's just a really, really great start. So I will definitely encourage you guys to just sop up as much information as you can today about the programs that I'm going to share. And then if you find that you don't qualify for either of the programs that I share information about, just know that there are a whole host of scholarship programs here at Ivy Tech that service a variety of demographics. So you do have an opportunity to engage in groups similar to ours. So if I can share my screen.
Absolutely, you should have access.
Share more about our programs. So everybody see that okay? Our sponsor programs, awesome. So this is just a little slideshow. I'm not going to kill everybody with the graphics, but it's just a little slideshow that goes over all of our programs, because our programs have a lot of different demographics that we serve. We like to make sure that you guys are aware of those. One of the things I didn't mention earlier is I'm also interim for the TRIO Scholars Program. I always forget how many jobs I have here. So I'm also going to share information about the TRIO Student Support Services Program. So sorry, I missed that the first time. So let's start off with the Ignite Scholars Program. So the Ignite Scholars Program was brought to campus by the Nina Mason Pulliam Charitable Trust. They are the same entity that funds our Nina Scholars Program. They're invested in very unique backgrounds of students because they recognize that these groups of students have limited support and therefore are the most likely to not graduate from college, let alone, persist to a university. So they really invest in our program and in these students specifically. So this just tells you the students themselves that we're seeking to serve. Again, looking at the demographic or the background information. So this program does tend to target students that are 18 to 26 and that meet those demographics that you see there. So have been in the foster care system, have experienced homelessness or housing insecurities. If you've ever been in the system, been declared an emancipated or unaccompanied minor in high school, or maybe even after high school, or if you've had legal guardianship appointed. Sometimes students will say, well, I've never been in the court system. That is not to the letter. If you've never been in the court system and you just turned 18 and your parents said, good luck, this program is also for you, especially if you're caring for dependents or have a primary support for your family. Let's talk about kind of what that looks like. If you are 18 years old, between 18 and 26, and you're living at home with maybe a sibling or a cousin or someone that's younger than you that you've just kind of stepped in and helped out. And then you're struggling to maintain that household and to support, that household. This program is definitely a program that we would like students to become a part of. Now, the housing insecurities or homelessness, you don't have to currently be homeless. If you are someone that often has to move, Indiana is the highest in evictions. And a lot of times a student will live somewhere, get evicted, and find it very hard to find housing after that. If your housing has been maybe 3 or 4 months in different places because of the inability to cover your own rent and things like that, we are really hoping to capture that group of students and support them. Okay. Now, what we can do or what we can provide for you as a part of the program is a variety of resources. We have funding available that can pay for your tuition and fees or your books or supplies. However, the funding is not set. We don't say this is $1,000 or this is $2,000. What we say is we're going to accept you into the program. We're going to look at your financial aid package and we're going to determine what it is that you're needing help with. If it is covering the cost of your classes and things, then we will help with that. But maybe you have a Pell Grant and you don't have a problem getting books, but you have a problem buying food all semester, or you have a problem getting back and forth to campus. We know gas is high and public transportation is inconvenient. So these are all the different things that we look to secure. You can see there some of the general things that we look for and support outside of those traditional housing or food insecurities, and then tuition and fees. We provide counseling for students. We recognize that we have counselors here on campus, but sometimes those services need to be expanded upon. So we work very closely with our counseling office to ensure that if you get services from them currently, you can get those services continued at different organizations outside in the community. Or maybe even you're currently with a provider, but when you turned 18, your insurance fell off. Now you have a big copay that's very hard. You really want to stay with that provider, but there's fees that you're unable to cover. We will look to step in and help with those things. Additional community resources. We advise our students in the financial aid area to ensure that you have a financial aid specialist that can help navigate those things. And then, of course, those housing and those supports through the enrollment steps, because the number one thing we say is you have to be a student. You have to be a student in order for us to be able to serve you. So being willing to stay enrolled is the primary step in becoming a part of the Ignite Scholars program. The good thing about the Ignite Scholars program too is that we are currently under this big recruiting initiative. So we don't even have any deadlines in place. If you're interested in this program, you'll see there where it says you can either refer a student or you can become an Ignite Scholar. So you can email that email address and let us know, hey, I saw this presentation. I really think I qualify for these services and I would like to, be considered for these services. And what we will do is we will set up a one-on-one meeting with you to kind of do like a needs assessment to determine exactly what it is that you need. And then we'll help you towards those services. So definitely make sure that you reach out to me or reach out to us if you would like to become a part of that program. So let's see what's next. The TRIO Student Support Services Program. Now, one of the things I'll say while I'm here is you can become a part of multiple programs. So if you are here, like, I really love that Ignite program, and no, I'm going to hear about TRIO. I really love that. Oh, what about NINA? Oh, what about Bowen? You can become a part of multiple programs. Typically, students that are in the TRIO Support Services Program are in at least one other scholarship program. The difference in TRIO Student Support Services, and that's I'm gonna call it TRIO SSS because that keeps me from being tongue-tied. But that being said, they provide primarily wraparound service support. There's not a built-in scholarship. This also, we're targeting a very different set of demographics than we were previously. So you'll see there, if you have heard of TRIO in the past, they have some current permanent staff that are very well trained in the whole TRIO office. So if you ever feel like you want to come by, you can definitely ask for either Taryn or Caden. I'm actually not in the TRIO office currently. I'm just around the corner, but we're all on the same floor. And you can also reach out to me as well about TRIO. So this is what TRIO does for our students, and just a little bit of background information. TRIO SSS is a federally funded program. So this is not just a program that exists here at Ivy Tech. It exists at IUPUI and other universities. Additionally, you may have heard of a TRIO SSS program through Upward Bound, maybe in high school. So if you qualified in high school for the Upward Bound program, then you would qualify for the TRIO SSS program. Now, what TRIO does is we provide college guidance. So you would still have your opportunities to get your academic advising done, but we also do the other wraparound services. So all of the college stuff, college policies, choosing your majors, tutoring, academic advising, all those things are built in. But we also help students with all of those other things outside of school. If you have housing and food insecurities, the TRIO department is connected to a variety of departments here on campus, and we can connect you with resources both on and off campus, which is why, like I said before, typically a student that's in the TRIO program is typically in another program to ensure that they have that built-in funding support, which is very valuable. Now, in order to apply for TRIO, or to qualify for TRIO, you must be considered low income, and the low income guidelines are listed on the website. Ultimately, if you're Pell eligible, so if you receive a Pell grant, you would qualify for the TRIO program. Additionally, we are asking that students be first-generation college students. Now, first-generation college students are students whose parents did not graduate from a four-year college university. So that may be you. If that's someone that, maybe even they had some coursework, but they didn't complete the degree, then you would qualify. And then other than that, if you're not a first-generation college student, you can qualify if you have a physical disability or a learning disability. So say maybe you're low income, but your parent did graduate from college. As long as you have a disability, and you can be working with disability support services, but it's not required. You just have to be qualified under that disability category in order to be a TRIO student. And then you can also apply online. So the link is there available, and I'm going to make sure that the PowerPoint gets sent out for you guys to be able to directly click on these links, because I know ain't nothing worse than having a link that you're watching and you got to try to type it in. So we'll make sure that you guys get access to this so you can go directly to the link. If for some reason you can't locate the TRIO Support Services program, when you go on ivytech.edu, which is a massive website full of a lot of great information, but it's hard to sift through. If you use the search box, just type in TRIO. That will take you to the statewide TRIO page. And then they have a little option for all the different locations, and you'll select the Indianapolis location in order to apply. You can apply online. And the best thing about TRIO is they accept applications year-round. So you can apply at any time and be able to have an intake appointment scheduled to be able to become a part of that program. So now that I've talked about those programs that I do on my non-regular job, I am now going to share with you guys about the NINA Scholars and the Bowen Scholars program, which this is what I primarily do here at Ivy Tech. And I've been in this department since 2013. So with the NINA Scholars and Bowen Scholars program, we have 4 staff members total, 2 part-time and 2 full-time. As you met before, Ms. Maya is our program assistant, and she really is the behind-the-scenes person. She knows a lot more than I do about a lot of these things. So anytime you have questions, you have an opportunity to reach out, and she'll be able to help you, whether it be going through the application process. And she serves as a valuable resource to our current students to ensure that they get their appointments scheduled, they have all their questions answered, and get directed to the right places. Our tutors, which are Linda and Manuel, are part-time tutors. They tutor in primarily math and sciences, but they are available to help in other classes. For example, Miss Linda, who is actually a book editor, academic book editor, will also help with things like editing papers and things like that. So our tutors do a really good job of not only tutoring students in person, but also tutoring students virtually. I know we're coming out of the COVID space and we're kind of moving back to in-person, but we do recognize that the students that we serve typically don't always want tutoring during that regular schedule. And sometimes it's easier to do it with the kids in the next room. You might need it on a Saturday, you might need it on a Sunday. So our tutors are able to schedule with you according to when you need. So I'm going to go through these programs a little bit differently because they each have awards. So I want to make sure that I go through the awards that they offer, but I also want to go through the demographic that we serve. Now, the NINA Scholars is most like the Ignite Scholars program. The only difference in the NINA Scholars program is we expanded that demographic that we serve. So we serve a bigger group of people. And we have a pretty nice size scholarship that every single student gets guaranteed as being a part of the program. So let's look and break this down as far as like who we're looking for to qualify. Now, the most important thing is we are looking for students that are still within their first year, which is why we try to come to things like this. And we really encourage students to get out there and find the information, because you have to have less than 24 college level credits. And that's per your Ivy Tech transcript. So if you're sitting here and you're like, my transcript says I have 23, but then I'm in 2 classes this semester, it will not count against you the current semester. It's what you have at the time that you apply. And I'll talk a little bit about that here in just a minute, about the application. Additionally, if you verify that you're still within that first year, you just have to meet one of these criteria. So the first and really the biggest here at Ivy Tech are adults with dependents. So there's not an age requirement on that one. You just have to be considered an adult, and then have a dependent in your family unit. Now that can be a child that you raise. It can be, again, maybe someone that you've taken financial responsibility for. Maybe you're taking care of a sibling, or maybe you're caring for a niece or nephew. We've even had students caring for elderly parents that count as dependents that could qualify for that program or under that criteria. Additionally, if you do not qualify under that criteria, you do have the option to qualify as a youth or adult with a physical disability. Now, again, no age requirement. It says youth or adult because we do accept students straight out of high school. So if you're a dual credit student or something like that, you could still qualify. The only difference with this one is it has to be a physical disability. Physical disability being mobility, sight, or hearing. So those are the different criteria. Now, you do not have to be working with disability support services. And we don't tell you how significant or insignificant your disability is. The best thing about this program and our process is you get to tell us. So let me give you an example. We have a student that has lupus in our program. And lupus is an autoimmune disease, which can sometimes cause her body to have changes that cause physical ailments. That could be just waking up one day and feeling really icky and weak, or that can be not being able to walk or having spasms and back problems and things like that. So because of that diagnosis, and because of the things that deficiency brings to her life, she has barriers in the classroom. So she's able to qualify under that criteria. We've also had students in our group apply that have had things like sickle cell anemia. We've had students that have had different diagnoses like cerebral palsy. So there's a lot of different things that students can tell us, this is my physical disability and this is how I qualify. Now, the way that you would do that, and I'll talk about it in just a minute, is through the application. We never tell students, do you qualify? Tell me right now. What we do is we say, this is our program. Is this something you think you qualify for? We want to get you to the application. So then you can tell us, what is it that you need us to do for you? Why are you the best person to get into this program? And then our last area, if you don't qualify in any of the two, if you're 18 to 25, again, paying attention, a little bit different than Ignite. Ignite was 18 to 26. This is 18 to 25 with a history of abuse, neglect, or a lack of effective family support, or experience in the public foster care system. That's a mouthful. And sometimes when you read it, you're like, what does that even mean? Well, let me kind of quantify it for you. It could mean I was 18 years old when I aged out of the system. I haven't been connected with any of my biological family since I was 4 years old. I've lived in foster care all my life. It could be that. It could be I'm 18 years old, and me and my mom haven't gotten along since I was 16. I've been living with my best friend since I was 16. I just got my own place. Me and my best friend got our roommates. Or it can be, well, I was living with my mother maybe when I was 16. Then I lived with my father and he passed away. So then I went and lived with my grandma, and she's done the best that she can. I still live with her, but I'm responsible for my own food or housing. It could also look like my mom was in a domestic violence situation. At the age of 8, I had to move out of my home that I knew forever, and we lived in a shelter for several years. She was able to get on her feet maybe when I got in high school, but it still was very hard to make ends meet. Or I am a victim of domestic violence myself. I have 3 children. I've had to separate from my abuser. I kind of have housing, but not really. This demographic can look a variety of ways. One of the biggest things I always tell students is we don't tell you how you fit. You tell us how you fit. Okay. You tell us why is this program going to be beneficial to you? And a lot of times students are just, they struggle to tell us. And this is why I want you guys to know, we don't want you to share any information you're not comfortable with. We have a great process in place where we have an opportunity to sit down with you, to meet you, and to really determine if you are the best fit for our program. So now that I've kind of talked about that, let's talk about the things that we're going to offer to you when you become a part of the program. The NINA Scholars Program does cover your cost of tuition here at Ivy Tech. So what that means is that anything charged to your Ivy Tech account, we cover. We work directly with the financial aid office to ensure that we're covering not only tuition and fees, but technology fees, any fees associated with your programs that may be charged directly to your account. Additionally, we cover the cost of books and supplies. So currently Ivy Tech is under what's called Ivy Plus, which is they're providing books for all of the students, a lot of ebooks. You might be a student that's like, I like physical books. We can order those physical books for you. We understand how learning happens in a variety of ways. And some people just need that physical book to connect to the information. That's one of the greatest perks in our program. And even before Ivy Plus existed, we cover all of the cost of books and supplies. Now, the supplies can be non-traditional. So non-traditional being, I want to go into the nursing program. I need special shoes. I need scrubs. I need a stethoscope and a lab coat. We purchase those things for those students. Well, maybe you're a hospitality student. You need a knife kit. You need a certain number of uniforms, especially if you work full-time, you don't do laundry 3 times a week. You may need those extra set of pants that I think are $60 a piece. So those are the things that we help to cover for those non-traditional supplies. Or say you're in automotive or taking an automotive class and you say, I need that toolkit. And the toolkit's $250. We can purchase those for you as well. One of the best things about being in the General Studies program, as you know, is you can take up to 15 credit hours in a certain area. Is that right, Amanda? I'm doing good on the 15, okay?
Honestly, there's no cap anymore. They took
Oh,
the cap away. So
good.
like you could do all of your
Awesome.
electives in one area if you wanted to. So
Well, that's even
even
better. See, when I
better.
was a student here, it was 15. So,
Yeah.
so that's great. So this
Yeah.
gives you that opportunity to really just see what classes you want to do and not be concerned if you're in the NINA Scholars Program about getting those additional supplies needed. We do purchase other supplies, kind of traditional ones, if you need a calculator, if you need, we talk about time management, we talk about planners. So we purchase planners for our students. We try to make sure that you have all the things that you need to be successful and organized in your classes. And then on top of those things financially, we do provide our students with a living stipend of $3,200 per year. We break that down into $355 a month payments. And it's for 9 months. The reason why is because our students are not required to attend classes in the summer. As we know, most students, not all students, but most students like to take the summer off. So if you are a student that likes to take the summer off, you have that option. We don't provide a stipend over the summer, but we still pay tuition over the summer. So that living stipend, that $355 every single month, is given to students after you participate in the program. Now, the one thing I never touch on during these is participation, because sometimes students are like, oh my God, they're going to ask me to do everything for this scholarship. And we don't actually. The time commitment in order to become a NINA scholar is an hour and a half a month. The hour and a half is so planned out that the minute you get into the program, you'll know your entire calendar all the way to May of the next year. We make sure we give our students our meeting calendar, and we even have a kind of convenient meeting date. It's always on Fridays. It's one Friday a month from 12 to 1. So if you're a student that works, you can take an extended lunch break. Or if you're a student that just takes classes, a lot of times when we tell students you have every other day of the week, just don't schedule those class conference flicks on Friday from 12 to 1. Of course, if you have a class and that's the only option for that Friday, we definitely understand that, and we work that out because we do have makeup meetings within our program. The other 30 minutes is 3 times per semester. You get to schedule it on your own terms, and that's just to meet with me. A lot of times that's your 30 minutes to say, I'm having issues with my housing, my light bill is sky high, I need some resources, or I just need food. So these are great opportunities to just have check-ins where you can check in with yourself, because we recognize that you're very busy college students, head of your families, and you don't get a lot of time to just focus on the things that are important in that very short 30-minute time frame. So it's a really, really great opportunity. And a lot of times students will say, well, how does this work with my other financial aid? We have really great conversations on the front end, but one thing I will tell you is this: if you are a Pell recipient, you will receive your Pell Grant back in a refund to you. So a lot of our students are able to supplement their income and either work part-time or even not even work at all, and really budget their money for the entire year to be able to say, I have my monthly stipend, I have my Pell Grant, these are my monthly expenses. I can only work 10 hours a week, focus on my school, and take as many credits as I want under NINA, which typically students take about 15 to 18 credits, to be able to get through that degree and get graduated. So a lot of times it's a great opportunity financially, and a lot of our NINA scholars graduate with less than $5,000 worth of student loan debt because they're able to use this program to supplement their income. So now that you're excited, right, about applying, this is all the information that you need to apply. So you see our website there. Again, if you can't find it, it's very easy. I know the other links are like ivtech.edu, number pound. This is ivtech.edu/NINA. We try to keep it as simple as possible. Also, if you have questions or concerns, you can email us directly. Very hard email to remember, nina@ivtech.edu. So it's really simple. And then our offices are located in the NMC building in room 505. That's Maya's direct office, but we're right across the hall from each other. And you're also welcome to come up if you have any questions about your application. Now let's talk just a second about the application. As I said before, the application does require a essay, but one of the primary questions is, how do you qualify for the program? That is where you get a time to create that space and say, this is more information about me. I think a lot of times students think scholarship means 4.0 students that are perfect in every class and are academic scholars, right? It's great to be an academic scholar. We do accept academic scholars, but we more like to make impressions on students that maybe are 2.6s with the potential to become a 3.5 if they didn't have to work 43 hours a week. Or maybe someone that is at a 3.2, but is simply not getting the rest that they need. They're working overdrive just to maintain that GPA while maintaining some sanity in their households. We recognize the stresses that you guys face outside of class, and our goal is to ensure that you have the support that you need to get through, because it's not a matter of if you're going to graduate. Of course you're going to graduate, but it's what that path looks like along the way. So definitely, if you qualify, we hope that you'll go ahead and apply. So not to change gears too much, but now I'm going to talk about the Bowen Scholars Program, which is very different again in the demographic that we serve. This is also very different in the type of student and what the student looks like. So what we serve in the Bowen Scholars Program are our African-American students here at Ivy Tech. The only other requirements outside of being an African-American student are that you must have 6 college level credits completed, and that's at the time of your application. So it's a minimum, not a maximum. The best thing about that is, say you are working on your general studies degree for a secondary track. Maybe you already have a degree. That's fine. You could still apply for the Bowen Scholars Program. Outside of that, you just have to be a U.S. citizen. And one of the things I always make sure I clarify is if you have gone through naturalization, you will qualify for the scholarship. So that's one of the great things about that. And then the Bowen Scholars Program also does provide one of those set scholarships. So for the Bowen Scholarship, you receive $2,500 per year. A little bit different in how you receive it. So you receive that again over 9 months. I'm sorry, that's over 10 months actually, 10 months. So it's $1,250 every single semester. What that means is on the front end of the semester, so in January, if you're starting in spring, and in August, you receive $450. That $450 is for you to be able to provide yourself with books, supplies. Maybe you just need that to get you jump started for the semester. And then the other $200 is your participation stipend. The Bowen Scholars Program, similar to NINA, does require that you participate in the monthly meetings. Again, the time commitment is only an hour and a half per month. I often joke we pay you $200 an hour. It's better than what I get paid. So it's actually very, very good. And a lot of things about it is during those monthly meetings, again, always happening on Friday, always from 12 to 1, we have a program and a facilitator that run an amazing program to help you guys as students. We recognize that when you come into Ivy Tech, maybe you haven't had a leadership position. Maybe you're going to be someone who the most amount of money you've made was $20,000 a year. And after you graduate, now you're going to be making $40,000 or $50,000 a year. We recognize how you existing in those spaces before, how that's kind of tough. You know, once you get there, it's like, okay, I got the degree, I got the credential, but what does this really look like? I know how it feels. What does this really look like? So our facilitator works with our students to say, we recognize that this is where you're starting and this is where you want to get to. So let's work through those personal things. There's never homework, at least not any homework that's not fun. And the students really get an opportunity to communicate what it is that they're struggling with. And in this group of students, we have 40 students here on campus that belong to the Bowen Scholars Program. Our youngest student is 20 currently. Our oldest student is 60 something or other. I won't say anything else other than that, but she is just a great person in the program, and we get together and you would not know there's an age difference because the students are all going through the same things here at Ivy Tech and they're serving as a support for one another. You'll also often hear the Bowen Scholars Program compared to sororities and fraternities, as we always have a lot of fun, similar to the NINA Scholars Program. We get together and it's really that family feel that you get from the program. So in addition to the $2,500 per year, that meeting that happens once a month, every time you complete that meeting, you receive that $200. And that is, again, August all the way to May. So it makes sure it covers. Now, we don't have any summer funding, any summer stipends, but we do have funding in the summer if a student wants to take a class. Typically, our Bowen Scholars don't qualify for a lot of other financial aid, especially if you're working on a second degree here at Ivy Tech, or maybe even if you got a bachelor's degree and came back to Ivy Tech. You typically will not qualify for a lot of other financial aid. So a lot of our students in the summertime will take classes to catch up on some things. Best thing about that is we do cover the cost of tuition during the summer semester for our Bowen Scholars. It does say when funding is available. We've had a lot of funding here recently, especially, and we always make sure that we work with our students ahead of time to plan accordingly if you want to capitalize upon that funding. Okay. So similar to NINA, we have a little bit different in the deadlines for our Bowen Scholars. We have a deadline coming up of November 1st. So if you're sitting here like, wait, that's me, I should be a Bowen Scholar. Go online and apply today. It's really easy to do. Of course, we do have an essay, but one of the questions is, why do you want to be a Bowen Scholar? This is your opportunity to say, I saw Miss Andrea, I saw Miss Maya, I talked to Miss Amanda, and I'm just ready to be a part of this amazing program that provides these wraparound service. And I wouldn't mind getting paid $200 an hour to do it. So that's what you want to do. You want to visit that website. Again, not hard to remember, ivtech.edu/Bowen. And then, of course, if you have any questions, definitely reach out to us. Hopefully you'll remember that email, bowen@ivtech.edu. And then if you don't qualify currently, you do have the option to apply for our April deadline. Typically, if you're a new student, you're like, dang, I don't have those 6 college level credits yet. You can go ahead and apply and we'll hold your application for the next cycle, or you can wait until April and apply. We'll wait till April, maybe January, and then fill out the application. Now, you will see that we do require letters of recommendation, and you guys are in an amazing spot that you have an amazing program chair that would be more than happy to recommend you for the program. So don't hesitate to reach out to her if you would like for her to serve as a recommender for you. One tip I will say, however, is this: students often get really nervous about the recommendation letter. And a lot of times it's because they don't know what that person can say about them, or they don't know how to ask. And let me give you a tip. It doesn't matter if it's for our scholarship or any other scholarship. If you would like someone to recommend you, the best thing that you can do is send them an email and say, hey, I'm applying for this wonderful program. Here are 2 or 3 sentences about this program. And let me tell you 2 or 3 amazing things about myself. I belong to PTK. I volunteer in my church 2 times a week. I head my Girl Scout troops. And, I'm working on this initiative that I have a passion for in the community. Would you be willing to serve as a recommender for me? Let me tell you what this is doing. This is first giving them information about the program you're applying for, but also you are writing your own letter of recommendation by telling them these 3 or 4 amazing things about yourself. So they can take that information, add to it what they know of you. It could be academic, so your academic advisor can do it, your program chair can do it, but it could also be a mentor or a someone that you know in the community. And this is your way of making sure that recommender feels confident in completing that recommendation letter because they feel like they know a little bit more about you. So definitely make sure you utilize that, because that is a great tip in completing a scholarship application. So you guys have our contact information. And again, I will make sure that Miss Amanda gets this out to you guys so that you can have those active links. The one thing that I would tell you walking away from this is if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. We're here for you. And I will say this, being a student here in general studies, you often can kind of float through, right? You feel like you know what you're doing. I got this, I got my plan, but nobody does this journey on their own. So remember, you have to make those connections both on and off campus in order to be successful. So I look forward to hearing from you. And thank you, Miss Amanda, for allowing me this time.
Absolutely. And thank you so much. And I will send out both the slideshow so you have the live links and the recording. So if you want to go back and re-listen to something, you'll have access to both of those things. So I am going to stop the recording now.